Good day, collectors and viewers. Social Distance Warrior is back. Today we're going to spotlight our review on Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise. Now, Luke Skywalker, way back in A New Hope, started out as a farm boy. Then he met up with Ben Kenobi and Han Solo and Chewbacca and Princess Leia, and he took off in the Millennium Falcon. They landed on the Death Star, and on the Death Star, to sneak around, they needed to get into disguise. So Luke Skywalker, one of his many different costume changes throughout the movies, donned the famous Stormtrooper disguise, and they set out to save Princess Leia. And then on their journeys, of course, marketing being as good as it is, they made Luke Skywalker in all these different action figure poses. And of course, I, like many other collectors and fans out there, ate them up and was always dreamt of seeing Luke Skywalker in his Stormtrooper disguise as a kid. Now, by the time Star Wars passed with Return of the Jedi, we'd yet to see Luke Skywalker in that famous disguise as an action figure. I always dreamt of having one as a kid, never did. I know I had some friends that did modify them as a kid. I was a little bit small at the time, but I did have some friends that stated that there was a rumor there was a Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise. Now, I had never seen one. Of course, I had no internet. And then growing up through my teens, Star Wars kind of faded out, never saw it. And then when I started back up into collecting in the early 90s, mid-90s with Power of the Force 2, of course, internet was a very new technology, and I did get some, toy magazines, and lo and behold, there were these figures that were released in a Power of the Force line way back in 1985, and what's dubbed today as the Final 17. We had some new figures in there, and Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise was one of them. So the rumors were true as a kid. So in 1985, I don't have that figure here, unfortunately. It's quite the dollar, quite the prized possession to have this figure, especially if you have him complete. Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise was released as part of the Power of the Force line. We'll throw a picture up here. He's part of the 92 back, which is the same back as this one over here. And he's in that line there where they used to say collect all 92, and they made a Luke Skywalker with a Stormtrooper helmet that was removable. He did have the wet hair look, and definitely a hot commodity at the time. I would have loved to have that, especially after, Kenner made the Death Star and, playset, and now you can put the Luke Skywalker in there and run that iconic scene as a kid. So never had that one, but when the Power of the Force 2 line came up, I was a young adult in my 20s, and in 1996, they made a Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise, and of course, I was ecstatic. So this came out on the red card back in the Power of the Force 2. It came out on the green card back with the foil. It also came out in the freeze frame line, and that's this guy over here. So that's the first figure we're going to look at today. So here's Luke Skywalker, and of course, like everything else in the 90s there, he does have that beefier look. So he's got that, heavy chest plate, sticking out over here, thick arms. But nonetheless, we finally have a Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise. Now, it's got the same head sculpt as the Farm Boy Luke they released earlier, a few years before. And he does have the, his Stormtrooper blaster there. That comes off, so you can carry that around with your figure. And, of course, he's got the helmet in this hand here. We'll look at that in a second. Standard articulation here, arms up, down, legs front, back. We turn around to the back. We can see he's got the, chest plate running across the back plate there. He does have the waist articulation as well, side to side. So it was a fabulous figure. And if you never had one growing up as part of the Power of the Force line or didn't know it existed, having this one here was definitely iconic to have. They also did have a Han Solo one that wasn't on standard release, but did come out in mail away. I think it was a Frito-Lay mail away, and you could get the Han Solo. Now, I didn't have that option here in Canada, but that was available to the American customers for sure. Now, he does have that helmet, removable helmet that goes on his head, so you can run that scene, make him a Stormtrooper. It sits on there well. They actually did a really good job considering, all things considering at the time, when they were making everything beefy to look a little muscular. The Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise was definitely a welcome addition. So that was in 96, and the first introduction I had to the figure, and a welcome one at that. Definitely iconic scene. So we go 1 year forward Also in the Power of the Force 2 line, we get another Luke Skywalker, this one over here. This one is part of the cinema scene. So they did cinema scenes where they gave you 3 characters. Sometimes you get lucky and the characters were ones that were never released before. Or you get lucky and have a character that you never had, like the Frito-Lay Han Solo, and you get him and Chewbacca with shackles on him. It kind of came with a nice stand and a backdrop with the Death Star. And you get another Luke Skywalker, and it's in a brand new sculpt, again with the helmet, with the blaster. His arms are extended out. It's supposed to be reminiscent of them, holding Chewbacca on each arm. So Luke would hold him on one side, Han would hold him on the other side, and Chewie would be in the middle with his cuffs on. He does have that removable helmet, but the pose you can see is a little bit more fixed. And they kind of did this with a lot of the figures in the cinema scenes. They gave them like action poses, but they were welcome additions because you usually get figures that you normally couldn't get in these packs. And, the Han Solo was the standout in this set for me because I never had the original one, and now I was able to introduce Han and Luke together. So same articulation, legs, waist, arms, they're kind of fixed out further out. The same head sculpt as the one previous. So you had 2 Luke Skywalkers in Stormtrooper disguise in the span of a year, where you only had, let's put them back over here, where you only had one in 1985 that a lot of people didn't even know about, and then 90s come out and you get 2 in 2 years. So that was awesome. So we go one more year ahead to 1998, this time also Power of the Force 2. This time they re-release, make a new version of the Escape the Death Star game, and we get a new Luke Skywalker. He comes with the Darth Vader with a removable dome, not full helmet, just dome. But the Luke Skywalker is basically the same sculpt as the one we have here. The same exact body sculpt, except we get a new head, and we get some weathering on him there. So they give him some weathering. It's trash compactor Luke. So he doesn't have anything new sculpt going for him, but his head is new, and the head sculpt is a lot better. If you get a nice look at the head there, the face, you can see, Luke's definitely more realistic looking. And we turn him around here to the back. He's got the wet hair, pushed back, traveling along the back. I actually like this figure a lot. I love this head sculpt a lot more than that previous one there. And they've come a long way. They even got a little dent on his chin. His eyes are bright blue, bigger. And that was a nice welcome addition if you're able to pick up that Escape the Death Star set. And I think they sat for a long time everywhere on clearance. A lot of people were able to get that. And if you weren't able to get the Luke previous, or you weren't able to get the Darth Vader with removable helmet, it was basically the same Vader, except just the dome came off on that one. So that was a welcome addition. Again, gave you some variants on your Luke Skywalkers. So that was in 98. Then we get episode 1. And then just before episode 2 came out, they merged the movies together, the sequel, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy together. And we got what was called the Star Wars Saga line. And then we had these screen scenes that they released in the States. And of course, I'm in Canada. They never came out here. So, I had to find online methods of trying to acquire the set. And I was able to because I really wanted this trash compactor scene where you bought 2 scenes. One came with part of the trash compactor monster, and it had Luke and Han in it. And then the other set came with Princess Leia and Chewbacca, and the other set of the trash compactor monster. And the backdrops, if you combine them together, you'd form the trash compactor scene. So figures have this more realistic look. Luke, for some reason, they tried to give him a darker hair look because it was wet. So it's a little bit too dark there. You can see his eyes are closed and his mouth's open like he's choking because you'd put the trash compactor monster tentacle here, wrap it around him, like he's trying to hold himself off when he was fighting. His arms are fixed, so you can't do anything with these arms. They're in a fixed position, this one and that one. He does come with a blaster as well, which you can put in that hand there. And he does have articulation there at the waist. His head moves. What was neat about this one here is the knee articulation on the one knee there, so you can bend his leg back because you had him in the scene, and on the other one as well. So he had the 2 knees bent. So that was some added articulation, but, it's kind of fixed to that pose. You can't really do anything else with him because he's got a really strange, expression on his face. And I guess if you put a guitar in his hand, you could maybe make him part of a metal band, but that's the story with that Luke. And it was a nice welcome addition because you got that trash compactor monster and you're able to do that whole iconic Death Star scene. So fast forward 4 years to 2006, and with the anniversary collection, we finally get an updated Stormtrooper Luke. We got a lot of updated figures. he was one of them, but he got a comic look to him. So that Luke Skywalker is this one over here. I'll just bring this one forward. He came with a, comic look to R2-D2 as well. And we finally got a new sculpt, and I was ecstatic because we finally get a Luke Skywalker with, full articulation, knees, elbows, shoulders, chest. And his hair's a little bit darker in there. It's got the wet look, but he's still, a much updated figure from the previous stuff that we got. And what was interesting is the Stormtrooper helmet came with, a red paint job on the eyes for the comic. So it didn't really pass as the proper one for your scene if you're trying to use him as a realistic looking figure. You can see the R2-D2 is more of a, comic look there too. Less paint detail, more just black and white on him in that blue, that famous blue that used to be in all the comics. You can see it on the Vader in the back there as well. So that's the comic pack Luke. Brand new update, and there you can see Luke Skywalker and R2, and then you can see there's other sets that were available here in the sets too. So let's put that guy back. So we got a brand new Luke there, and we'd have to wait a few years before we get him released as a single version. So in 2008, part of the Legacy Collection, we finally get the proper Luke Skywalker that we needed from that set. So you can see here, they gave him a nice clean look. He's got his blaster. I'll just show you the articulation. It's the same one as the one that came with that comic pack. Elbows, shoulders, on the chest there, articulation, moving back and forth. The head's on a ball, right? So you have that option to take the head off if you wanted to, if you customized, and then knee articulation, and then of course the ankle as well. So full articulation on this guy. I guess my only gripe would be that the legs are a little bit close together. You're kind of stuck in this pose, but you can always, do the pose with him, leg bent forward, leg bent back. You can turn his ankles. You can sit him down, stand him, have him shooting, through that corridor in the Death Star. Do whatever you need with him. And let's take his helmet off there just to kind of show you what that looks like too. We turn him around. He's got the holster there for his blaster. He's got the belt on. Very nice looking figure. Nice update from that Power of the Force 2 Luke that we had. And the helmet fits on there nice as well. So you can see there's Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper outfit. We just set him back here too. Okay, he's standing just fine. Okay, next Luke Skywalker we get would be in 2015. So we'd go through a number of years with no Luke. And then Disney took over. And then they released a Rebel Mission Series line. And they had a lot of Star Wars figures coming out with 5 points of articulation. Again, I guess it wasn't too... I wasn't too fond of it as a collector. I'm sure a lot of people weren't, but we did get a new Luke there. That's this one here. So 5 points of articulation is supposed to be like kind of reminiscent of that original line. But after getting this one here, right, let's just take his helmet off. And then getting this one here, you can see where the gripe people would have with kind of taking a step back for an action figure. And he came in a 2-pack with Princess Leia. And he does have a removable helmet, so he had that there. His hair is a little strange color, but if you missed out on the previous Luke and had to get one, or you're just coming into the Star Wars collecting for the first time, you didn't have a choice. You'd have to pick up this guy. So I do have him as part of my collection. He's obviously not my favorite Luke Skywalker, but he's there, and he could always pass as a Stormtrooper if I didn't want to use him as a Luke Skywalker. So standard articulation, nothing at the waist there, but that was, believe it or not, 2015. So 2019, San Diego Comic-Con. I'm a little bit far from there, wasn't able to attend, but they released a 3-pack for the vintage collection, and they celebrate Luke Skywalker, and they gave you a brand new X-Wing Luke, they gave you a brand new Jedi Luke, and they gave you a brand new Stormtrooper Luke. And if you were unlucky to get that set like I was, then you had to wait until 2020, actually just recently, to get a perfect version of Luke Skywalker. And when I say perfect, I mean he's complete. He even comes on the card back with the Stormtrooper look on there as well, and that's this one over here. Just an amazing figure, like top to bottom, complete. This is the definitive Luke Skywalker. He comes on the Stormtrooper card back, which is nice with the Star Wars logo. We turn it around, we can see the other figures that are available in that line. He's VC number 169. I do have him open as well, because I had to get one carded, one open, because he's just such a nice figure, and that's him right here. We'll look at him, and you can just see how far they've come with Luke Skywalker. Full articulation on him, what you'd expect, especially from the vintage collection line. You can move him there at the chest. shoulder, elbows, hands, everything's adjustable on this guy. He's a perfect figure. Helmet sits on perfectly on his head. If I take that, put it on, you can see he passes the Stormtrooper. They got a nice glossy look on this white Stormtrooper outfit. Like, they knocked it out of the park. And the head sculpt for Luke Skywalker with the real scan technology on the face, you know, is just amazing. Like, the hair is a separate piece. It's even got, you know, depth on the hair where it crosses over his forehead, which is amazing. All the way around, they nailed the hair color. They nailed everything on this guy. Even his belt, the update to his belt running all the way across. He's even got, you know, the comlink stuck over here. This one doesn't come out, unfortunately. It's probably better it doesn't come out because you'd lose it. But again, it would have been nice to have the option at least to have it fixed on there or come off. But, you know, I'm not griping. The figure's perfect otherwise. He comes with the accessories that he should come with, you know, with the blaster and with the helmet. And, of course, he's got, you know, articulation at the waist there, too. So you can move his legs out, which you never had that option before. And, of course, at the knees and then at the ankles, too. So you can do everything with this guy. It's a perfect Luke Skywalker. And that was in, you know, 2019, circa 2020. We have him. He's complete. And he definitely completes the 3 3/4 inch collection with a definitive version of Luke Skywalker. I would like to mention that there was a few Black Series 6-inch releases as well that I'm going to bring up. First one is this guy over here. So when the line first started, they went to the blue line. So this will probably be 2014, 2015, in that era. We got a Luke Skywalker and Stormtrooper disguise. I wasn't really fond of these when they first came out. You can see he's got his, you know, comlink there separate. You can attach it to his waist. He's got the helmet and his blaster. That's it for accessories. I was never really fond of the head sculpts when this line first launched. It was a very plain look on his face. He almost looks sad. And just something felt a little bit off with this figure. And of course I saw it. I had to pick it up because Luke Skywalker. But, you know, that was the first release that we got of him there in 2014, 2015. And then we'd get a new version of him again, like we did with a lot of Luke Skywalkers late last year. Up here in Canada, we still have Toys R Us. So we got a Toys R Us exclusive update to the Stormtrooper Luke. And this is the one, the trash compactor version. So that's this guy here. You know, and he came with a nice stand, which is nice. Stand can come off. And again, they nailed the figure out of the park. So they weathered him from that previous one. He does have his Stormtrooper helmet, full articulation there. You can see on the arms. The head sculpt's amazing. It looks really good. Really reminiscent of Mark Hamill. We turn it to the side. It's got the wet look, so his hair is combed back. And it's coming back over his neck, which is nice. And, of course, full detail on the back here. And what's interesting to note on this one, you see the belt here and the wiring coming over the belt. And if you take the vintage figure one, here it's not painted. On the vintage one, it's painted. You see that? Not painted and painted. So they went the extra mile with this version here, which is just phenomenal considering how small he is. But, you know, we'll still take this 6-inch one. It's still a lot better than that previous one that we got, a Luke Skywalker. And, of course, it's iconic to the scene that he's in. And, you know, that does it for all of our Lukes. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like and subscribe. And I look forward to making more videos. Thank you very much. Take care.